Bulls fans? I'm back making Bulls videos. Not a reason I haven't been making, Bulls content in a while is because the Pistons games, I was watching the Pistons game, and then I was also watching the Bulls games and the Hornets game. I was watching a whole bunch of games, and then I decided to do the live stream specifically for the Pistons, and then I did the one video for the Pistons, and then I did the same thing after game 2. So I was reporting on the Pistons, but now I'm back. I got time to since the games aren't till the end of this week, I got time to report on the Chicago Bulls, and I got some things to say. So yesterday morning I watched game 1 and I took my notes, and then this morning I watched game 2 and took my notes. So the first thing that I want to say is about Zach LaVine. I'm going to start off with the positives first. The negatives will be towards the end of this video. So the first thing I want to talk about is Zach LaVine. So Zach LaVine, a thing that he said in one of his media days is that he feels like he's gotten better and that he's a better player this season compared to last season. And from watching the tape, from watching the film, the first game he struggled. I believe he only had 13 points. He struggled against the Houston Rockets, and at first I wasn't overreacting. Obviously, I'm a chill dude. I'm not one to overreact after one game. And then preseason game 2 came around. I believe he had 23 or 26, I forget. And then so basically he balled out in game 2, and I was like, all right, I was right not to overreact. And all in all, my thoughts on him is that he is, you could say, slightly better, but I'm not necessarily going to say that he took a jump or a next step. I remember I made that video because it was an article that I ended up reading and made a video about it. It was about Zach LaVine possibly becoming like an all-star and taking the next jump. I wouldn't necessarily say that he took the next jump, but he's basically a slightly better player. And what Zach LaVine is, he's like a B+, A- type player. He's like he would be your number 2, he would be your maybe number 2 or 3 on a championship team. He's not a number 1. I don't think he's that, but he is a number 2 or number 3 in terms of his role on a championship team. So the next player I want to talk about is my man's Patrick Williams. So Patrick Williams, he did about what I expected him to do. Patrick Williams, he had 12 points in his first game, then 13 points in the second game. And that's basically what he did in college. And basically, he played the exact same way he did in the NBA. Mid-range jumpers, played defense, and was a solid player all around. Just all around, he did exactly what I expected Patrick Williams to do. He's exactly the player that I expected him to do. Physically, he's already ready to play in the NBA. 6'8", 220 plus pounds. He's already what we expected coming out of college from Patrick Williams. So for him, I'm not shocked. That's exactly what I expected. And in the future, he will be much better as the years go on. So the next guy that we do have to talk about, since we're standing on a positive note right now, is Coby White. So Coby White, again, I said he had the potential to win Most Improved Player of the Year award, and it does look like he does have a shot to do that because he is much better than he was last year. Now last year, I was already impressed by what I saw from him, and in the preseason games 1 and game 2, I was even more impressed by what I saw because he seemed more, because last year he was a rookie. He played like a rookie. This year he seems a bit more poised, a bit more assertive when it comes to what he decides to do in terms of passing the ball and shooting the ball, deciding when to be aggressive and when not to be. It just, all in all, I feel like he's just matured a bit more this year, especially compared to last year. So Coby White, I was happy and pleased and impressed by what I saw out of Coby White's game. So this part of the video is going to be a bit more negative, I would say, but not necessarily negative, because it's certain players that I have negative things to say about, but also positive things to say about, and then there are some guys who I just have nothing but negative things to say about their games. So let's start off with Wendell Carter. Why not? So Wendell Carter, it's been rough for him in terms of shooting. Before in training camp, before the season started, he said that he worked on his jump shot, and we should expect him to shoot a lot more threes and more mid-range jumpers in the preseason and in the regular season. And he has shot more, and it hasn't worked out for him because the ball has not gone in the hoop, and he's just played worse. As a result, I believe his confidence is also taking a dip from the fact that his shot hasn't gone in. And, he will bounce back. It is Wendell Carter. I'm going to expect him to bounce back because he is going to be your franchise center of the future. So I'm not going to overreact to him, but it is kind of disappointing to see, his shooting, his shot not going in right now. That is disappointing. So next guy we got to talk about is Devon Dotson. Now, he didn't play in preseason game number 2. I was kind of disappointed by that. I expected him to get in some more minutes in preseason game number 2, but in preseason game number 1, he got in for 7 minutes. He only got 2 rebounds, didn't score, didn't get any assists. I said that he is probably like one of those type of players who will need a couple of years in the G League, and he came out and he played basically how I expected. He's going to need a couple of years to be in the G League, and if he does get, the right playing time down there, get put in the right positions down there in the G League, maybe one day he will be on the main roster. A good 2-3 years from now, he'll be on the main roster, helping y'all out, being a backup to Coby White. But as of right now, Devon Dotson is not ready to be on the NBA roster, and he played like that. Next guy we need to talk about is Daniel Gafford. Now, Daniel Gafford, it's not really negative, but it's not really positive either. It's a 50-50 thing about how Daniel Gafford played. So Daniel Gafford, he basically played exactly how he played last year. I didn't really see much improvement. Maybe if you want to say his mobility in terms of getting up and down the court, it did seem like he did move a bit better, but in terms of his skill, he seemed like basically the same as that player, and I'm not necessarily mad with that because, you know, the player that he is, he's a guy who's going to come off the bench, he's going to rebound the basketball, he'll score a little bit here and there, and that's what he is. I just want him to be, you know, a better version of that, a more, a player like, a way better version. I want him to be a way better version of what DeAndre Jordan was when DeAndre Jordan was at his best. I want Daniel Gafford to be a better version of that. And the next and final guy that we need to talk about is Lauri Markkanen. Now, Lauri Markkanen, also, I was disappointed by him. You know, I expected with the contract situation going on with him right now, I expected him to come out and, you know, demand basically to get paid, demand to get paid more money. And he didn't do that. He came out and he played a bit flat. I was disappointed by him. Right now, I believe he's healthy. I haven't seen any reports or heard anything about him being injured or having any injury issues right now. So I was disappointed by him, you know, not coming out and playing better. So, and that was basically the big reason why they lost game one, is because in game one, he didn't play too well. And also, you could say the same thing for Zach LaVine, because Zach LaVine also in game one didn't play well. So, Bulls fans, I'm going to be putting out more Bulls content soon. Y'all can expect that. Tune into my live streams. I will be live streaming Saturday around 9 o'clock after the Pistons game, talking about that. I know you guys are Bulls fans, but if you are interested in that, please come to the live stream. I'll respond to all the, you know, the messages. I reply to every question, you know, and we just have a fun, cool time during the live stream. So let me know how y'all feel in the comment section below about all the things that I said about preseason game number 1 and preseason game number 2 for the Chicago Bulls. So like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Thank you all for 1K. I'm out.
Hoped for a set defensive package scheme in and didn't want to stray from that. What do you do differently tonight? What is added? What is looked for? What is hoped for?
I think I heard some of it. You were breaking up there a little bit. Can you hear me or no?
Yeah, I could hear you.
Oh, okay. You know, I think that the first thing is I'm going to go the same way we started last game. I want to see how we respond, you know, coming off the way we started the game the other night. You know, certainly I think we've got to get back to shooters better than we did in pick and pop situations. I think defensively we have got to do a better job of helping, you know, certainly at the rim, in load spots. We've got to bring, I think, a lot more physicality than we did last time. Certainly there with Cousins and Wall's a big, strong guard. You know, I think the biggest thing for us was we looked at the things that we really tried to implement and install during training camp. And then you try to evaluate that, like, okay, was it changing the schemes or do we need to do things better? And I think we've got to do things better than we did it, you know, in that last game. And I'm a little bit leery of just all of a sudden trying to make a bunch of adjustments because of the number of threes that went up. But you know, we sure closed out on a lot of plays. We, you know, didn't get back to guys. We didn't contain the basketball. There was a couple loose ball offensive rebounds that we gave up to them. So we've got to do the things that we know we can do and have worked on, and we got to do those things better.